Today I'm going to diagnose a no spark on the Holley Sniper with the Hyperspark. So it was running perfectly fine doing fuel only, but once we put the distributor in and added the Hyperspark box, for some reason it's not getting signal from the Sniper EFI. -3 RPM. Why is it showing all RPM? Okay, there we go. Try it again. Might be cranking too slow.
That's all I'm thinking about the battery.
To a point where this is not going to work. So it should work. We have the Sniper EFI and we have the Hyperspark with the module. This input-output harness right here, and I've looked on a forum, all the forums that I could see to try to diagnose this. And what I'm thinking is going on is this Sniper EFI, the output wire for the coil, which is this white wire right here. Usually this is pinned out for fans and other outputs. This is bad. So a few things to check is your wiring for your distributor right here is good. And the weird thing about Holley is we have the red, the green, the black, but it goes to a pink, a purple, and a green. If you see it right there. So they don't match colors. Your one wire coming from here, I'm not 100% sure if all this is doing is grounding this wire. To test to make sure your Hyperspark box is good, you just ground this wire. And what it's going to do is it's going to spark the coil, and your light on your Hyperspark box is actually going to turn green. So in here, we have the Hyperspark box. If I turn the key on, it's orange. That means it's ready. When it's cranking, it should be green, but it's not. If I ground that white wire, it does turn green, it sparks, which means this box is good, all the wiring's good, the coil's good. Another thing you want to check, you could check it by just pulling the cap and the rotor and making sure it's spinning and you don't have a bad gear on there. Or you can come here, you could go to your multi-gauges, and all you have to do is see that it's showing RPM. If it's showing RPM, that means the cap is spinning and the rotor is spinning. So the only thing that I could come up with, and we've been trying to diagnose this for a while, is this white wire coming out of the box going to the carburetor is not getting a signal from the carburetor. That's the only thing that could be happening. So this ran perfectly fine just on the carburetor and fuel only with a different distributor. So it was an HEI distributor. Ran perfectly fine on this because it was just getting power and spark from the coil, or from the distributor, because it didn't have a coil, right? It's internal coil. So we're not getting spark because this wire is not seeing a signal from this carburetor. So this carburetor is bad, and it only has 50 miles on it. What, 50, 100 miles? Not much. So when we ground this white wire right here, the Hyperspark box light turns from orange to green. And that means it's working properly. The whole circuit is good. It's just not getting a signal from the Sniper, but the guy from Holley is going to call, and I guess he's going to tell us some different things to check.
First thing I want to do is I just want to go turn on the switch and go into your handheld. I just want to verify settings. All right. From your home screen, I want you to go tuning.
Okay.
System.
Yep.
Sniper setup. Tell me what the system type there says.
It says 4 injector 4150.
You have the original Sniper.
Okay.
All right, now go hit the back button and hit ignition setup and tell me what it says there.
Hyperspark, and then reference angles 50 degrees.
Okay. All right, good. Now, and so the white wire from your 10-pin I/O connector is connected to the white wire on your ignition box, correct?
Yep.
And when you crank this over, the ignition box light just stays orange.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
But you do see an RPM signal? Okay.
Yeah, it shows RPM on the little display, and then it also, I mean, the distributor, we checked it was turning before we did that, so.
Okay. What I want to do is unplug the 10-pin I/O harness from the sniper, and we're just going to check continuity from where it connects to your ignition box back to the pin in the connector on the I/O harness, just to make sure there's not something wrong with the wire.
When I ground it, the light turning green, wouldn't that verify that?
No, because that has not. You're not taking the. Where are you taking the wire loose from? All the way back at the 10-pin connector?
Yeah, the connector that goes into the carburetor. It says if
So
you.
how are you grounding it?
So the Hyperspark box, if you ground that white wire, the light turns green.
No, yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying the reason I want to check the connector on the I/O harness is because I want to check it at the pin to make sure it's not a crimping issue or something. So if we unplug that 10-pin connector, the white wire goes in to a pin there, and basically I want to just check continuity from there to where you're putting it together with the white wire for the ignition box.
Yeah, it shows that has no continuity right now. And then, do you have that touched?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it goes to about 0, 0, 1, 0. Yeah.
Okay, so it does see continuity across through there then.
Yeah. Then this is a common issue, you guys know then?
I mean, I've seen the issue before. It's not like super common. I've seen it before, but the only problem is we don't have ECUs to replace that one with anymore to fix the problem, because the Sniper 2 came out and it has replaced those original snipers. So, we offer people that thing being 2 years old, it's actually out of warranty, but since we don't have parts to replace it, we're offering people a Sniper 2 upgrade kit for the price it would cost to replace that unit.
Yeah.
So that they're not just stuck with, as long as they can find their original proof of purchase. But it's like, say, if he got it from Summit or Jegs, he can most likely get it from them.
The car up with the Sniper and the Hyperspark, and it was running kind of like it was missing a little bit, but when you revved it, it kind of went away, but it still felt like it was knocking. The back two spark plug wires were switched, so 5 and 7 were accidentally flipped, and we've been working on this for about a little bit over 3 months. So it is what's to be expected, but flip those and it runs perfectly fine now. Now that it's idled for a little bit to kind of get the learning in the fuel table, we're gonna go take it for a little drive. Now taking the car for a cruise, and you can see coolant temps 193. AFRs are adjusting, it's learning as we're driving, and it's feeling a lot better than it did before. So we changed the intake, Sniper 2, Hyperspark. It feels a lot smoother. Before it was like, you could hear like air rushing. It sounded like, I don't know, like a washing machine almost. And now it just sounds fine, and it feels fine. Seems like it's driving a lot better. I changed the FRs too, so it's not going to be using a lot of fuel. So cruising, it's like 14.5. Idling, it's 14.5. And wide open throttle, it's 12. So shouldn't have any issues. It's just a factory or maybe mild cam small block. Just a nice Sunday drive back from the 50s.
570.
Yeah.
I guess it does all right. I think I know which wheel the weight fell off of.
I can feel the vibration.
Yeah, I lost two of them, and I'm sure they're on the back one.
Wobbly.
Yeah, it is.
Feels like the axle's gonna fall out of it.
That's swing lines. 1957 technology.
Yeah. Sounds pretty good. You know, I wonder if that noise is the starter not disengaging. Did you hear that? Where it's like, "Whirr." I wonder if that's why the starter is not, it doesn't sound like it's happy. I think that's a starter. Well, get another starter and shim it right. So after a ton of work, the Chevy is now on a Sniper EFI and Hyperspark, and it runs and drives really well, other than we just found out that the starter is actually dragging on the flywheel, and it's getting pretty weak. So he's gonna get a new starter, and we'll have to shim that out correctly. Usually I'm not sure if that's what's going on with 350s, but usually what happens is people don't end up putting the spacer in between the engine and the transmission, and then the starter catches on the flywheel. But other than that, what do you think, Chris? She runs pretty good. We leaned her out a little bit.
I'm pretty happy with it. We took it over to my dad, and he drove it, and he was really excited about it. So this was all for him, and I love you, Dad. So here's your car.
Yeah, so it's probably needs to be driven a little bit more for the tune stuff, but I mean, it fired right up. There wasn't any issues other than we accidentally had the wires switched on 5 and 7. So after that was fixed, it stopped sounding like it was knocking, and we just drove it over to get some food, and probably drove for a good like 45 minutes with no issues on the highway, doing some pulls, and drove great compared to it not driving before. And it doesn't make that noise anymore.
Yeah, and while Dave was gone, I must have pulled every single nut and bolt out of this fuel regulator here that I mounted here on the wall. Didn't matter how tight you tightened it, but they leak. So if you're building one of these at home, put some Teflon on those threads to make sure that it's fuel regulated Teflon. Other than that, we attached the Sniper ignition coil to the firewall back there. We were originally going to put it above the brake booster there, but I kind of kept everything clean and then tried to hide as many wires and keep everything as tight as possible in here. So
yeah, so what I ended up doing was I ran the harness all the way in the car, so everything's in the car other than the coil and everything that goes to the Sniper EFI and the distributor. So it's actually really clean, other than this probably needs to be pushed in, but all the wires just go in right there, and you don't see anything else, which is really nice. I mean, it makes it really clean, and there's not a bunch of wires everywhere.
well, and the other thing is we started this build for my dad in June for his birthday, and all I got to show him was a picture of the intake. And once Dave made the previous video about the situation we were having with Holly, it ended up, man, it lit a fire under him, because they sent me everything I needed. I had it within that week. So as soon as we got it, me and Dave tackled it, and we got it running. It's tuned in, drives great. I'm not bashing Holley stuff. I still like their equipment, and I appreciate the guy that took the incentive to make this whole deal correct for us. So I would recommend that somebody could do this at home if they have all the proper stuff. One thing that is a little hard is we did change the fittings and stuff for the angles of the fuel. The Sniper 1 ended up having the fuel lines were run on one on each side. The Sniper 2, they're ran on the passenger side. So a little bit of changeover on that, but other than that, it's great. It doesn't have that whistling sound anymore when you hit it on full throttle. So
it actually accelerates better too.
Yeah, Dave leaned it out, and it has a great throttle response now, and just now it's time to get some miles on this thing and enjoy it. So
yeah, so I mean on like a non-turbo, non-supercharged application, I mean you could run your idle pretty lean and your cruising pretty lean, as well as the wide open throttle. It doesn't have to be, I mean, these out of the box, I think it was like set at 9 AFR. That's like 9 AFR or 10 AFR is like turbo or supercharger, like full wide open throttle. So you can lean them out. I mean, don't go too crazy with it, but it's a lot easier with the laptop. On the little handheld, it's a little bit more difficult, but I would just kind of let it self-tune and set your targets and enjoy it. End the video here. Hopefully this was helpful to anybody that wants to install a Sniper EFI with the Hyperspark and the distributor, because it was technically an easy install as long as you had everything that you needed and the correct parts to do the install. If you guys like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.